Good evening to all. Myself is Lakshmi here from Tally Solutions. Today, we will be having a discussion on service tax. Please confirm me whether you people are able to hear my voice. Is it audible? Please confirm the same through chat. Good evening everyone. Myself is Lakshmi here from Tally Solutions. As today we will be having a discussion on the topic service tax. Please confirm the same through chat whether my voice is audible to everyone, so that we can continue with the session. Please confirm whether my voice is audible so that we can continue with the session. Please confirm all whether voice is audible. I request all to confirm whether my voice is audible. Finally, please confirm that my voice is audible. So let us start with today's discussion on the topic service tax. So as I scheduled the session on the topic service tax, let us first have a look on our agenda to get what and all the activities that we are going to do in today's session. So as per the agenda, today we will be having the introduction on the topic service tax. Then we will discuss on the objectives, what are the objectives of this particular session. And then the remaining part we will be having the discussion on basics of service tax. So on the basics we will be having the discussion on theory and the domain part. And also we will see how exactly in the product the service tax has been handled. So once the product walkthrough has been done, we will have a question and answer session. So first let us have a look on understanding the service tax concept. So under understanding service tax concept, let us have a look on the objective part. So today's objective is to understand the basic concept and relevant terminology in service tax. So we will be having a discussion, the related terminologies and related terms that we use in service tax, and we understand how the applicability and scope of service tax is there. And also we will learn how service tax is calculated on services and how the same thing is handled in the product. And later on we will be having a discussion and interest on the service tax form, return filing and generation of the challenge. So as the session is scheduled on service tax, first let us understand what do you mean by service tax. So service tax is an indirect tax on taxable services provided by the service provider. This means service tax is a tax collected on the taxable services which has been rendered by the service provider to the service receiver. So here basically tax is collected from service receiver by the service provider and then it is remitted to the department. Next, service tax is a central levy on services and has become one of the fastest evolving laws with almost all services covered. It means service tax is a central tax and also it's becoming very fast evolving with us because nowadays it's an increase in the services. Coming to the third point, it covers almost all regular businesses including the software companies. So this means that Involving all the regular businesses, it also includes the services that are rendered by the software company. Is there any clarification that people require regarding the service tax? You can send me the queries through the chat also, so that we can clarify regarding the service tax meeting. Any clarifications required on the meaning of the service tax? Otherwise, we shall continue with the remaining part. Fine, let us continue with the next slide. So now we have understood what exactly is service tax. So service tax is nothing but the tax collected on the services that are rendered. So when we talk about the service tax, it is basically important to understand what is service. So here service means any activity carried out by a person for another for consideration. That means if a person is rendering any services, it should be for the another person, not for the self. It should be for the another person, and there should be consideration involved. There is nothing but the monetary consideration or the other kind of consideration, like you are rendering one services and in turn you are taking another services. So these kind of monetary or non-monetary considerations should be involved in the services which are rendering to the other person. Generally the service should be called as a service as per the rule. So the definition of services has the following essential requirements. That means a service to be called as a service, it should fulfill the below requirements as per the law, as per the rule. So the first one is it has to be any activity. So activity should be involved, and such activity has to be carried out by a person as nothing but the service provider, and such person has to carry out the same for the another person. Another person in the sense it has to be carried out for the another person here in the name of service receiver. So there will be an activity involved and two persons will be involved here. One is service provider and one is service receiver. And the activity has to be for a consideration. It can be a monetary or non-monetary consideration and also includes the displayed services. This is as per defined by the rule. You can raise your queries in the chat when we discuss about the topic, so that we can clarify it. So now we have discussed about the taxable service tax and what exactly is a service. Now let us have a look on what is taxable services. So taxable service here in the sense it includes all the services minus the negative list services and the exemption list services. So basically negative list services and exemption services are not taxable. So when you deduct all these kind of services from all services, the remaining service categories will be the taxable service category. So let us have a brief introduction about this negative list. What exactly is this negative list? Negative list services are nothing but the service categories which can never be taxable under any amendment. That means they can never be taxable by the department. And the service categories which fall under the exemption list, they can be taxable in the future as per the amendment. And also there are chances that these exemption list categories can also be fall under negative list in future. Is my voice audible to everyone? Fine. Now let us have a look on value of taxable services. We have understood what is service tax and what is service and what are the basic requirements need to be fulfilled to be called as a service, and then we have seen what exactly is the taxable service. Now we can see what is the value of taxable service. Basically, service tax is payable on the value of services. Here, value of service shall be the gross amount charged by the service provider for such service rendered by him. So basically, the service tax is charged on the gross amount of the services. And also, as we discussed earlier, taxable services include three kinds of services: the negative services, exempt services, and declared services. Declared services will always be taxable, and there are some services which are under exemption. That means there will not be any charge of services. And there are some services which are under negative list. That means they can never be chargeable by the department under any amendment. Moving to the next slide, let us see who is a service provider. So as defined under section 65 of the particular Service Tax Act, a service provider is the one who provides the taxable services. So everyone cannot be called as a service provider. So a service provider is the one who provides taxable services only when he is fulfilling the provision as per the section 65 subsection 105. Next, who shall pay the service tax? So every person providing the taxable service to any person has to pay service tax at the prescribed rate. This means, whichever person, there is nothing but service provider who is providing the service to the other person who is the service receiver, he has to charge the service tax and he has to pay the service tax to the department at the prescribed rate. And in two cases, tax is payable by the service receiver under reverse charge method. So this we are going to discuss in detail in the upcoming slide. Rate of service tax. According to section 66 of the Finance Act 1994, there shall be levied a tax at the rate of 12% of the value of taxable service. Your value of the taxable service in the sense of gross amount of the service tax, referred under the section 65(1)(65) of the Finance Act 1994. So right now, service tax is levied at the rate of 12% on the gross value of the services, and in addition to the 12% of the service tax, education tax at the rate of 2% and also secondary education tax at the rate of 1% is also payable. Thus, the total service tax is taxable at the rate of 12.36%. This particular rate is applicable as per the latest amendment. Now let us see the point of taxation. So this point of taxation we are going to discuss as per the changes in the budget 2012 onwards. So point of taxation is the date of payment for individual and partnership firms including LLC up to a turnover of 15 lakh in financial year, provided the taxable turnover did not exceed this limit in the previous financial year. This means that in case of individual, partnership firms and proprietary concerns, when their turnover is exceeding 50 lakh in the previous year or the current financial year, the point of taxation will be applicable on realization basis. That means you are rendering your service and you are collecting the payment from the party. Only when you receive the payment from the party on the services rendered, the point of taxation will be applied. That means you have to make the payment of the duty to the department. Next point, the point of taxation in respect of the persons required to pay tax as recipients of services shall be the date on which the payment is made. So, from the recipient point of view, that is nothing but service receiver, they will be making the payment of service tax when they are making the payment to the service provider. So, on that particular date, they will raise the liability and they will make the payment to the service provider. When the payment is not made within a period of 6 months of the date of invoice, the point of taxation shall be determined as if this rule doesn't exist. This means that you have made the bill of services, but you have not received the payment within the period of 6 months from the date of invoice. In this case, the point of taxation shall be determined as if the rule does not exist. That means you are going to revert this particular service tax liability on your part. This is applicable especially for the service provider. Any clarifications required regarding point of taxation? Please let me know if there are any clarifications required regarding point of taxation to the tax, so that we can clarify and we can proceed with the further slides. And we will proceed with the next slide. So till now I have discussed regarding the domain part and the theory part, how exactly what are the terminologies related to service tax, and we have understood what exactly is a service mean and what is service tax, who are the persons that are involved, and when service tax is charged. Now let us see in the product how exactly service tax is handled. So from the product point of view, let us study or look on our objectives for today's session. So on the objectives, we are going to cover how to activate and configure service tax in Tally.ERP 9. We are going to see how to record purchase and sale of services wherein service tax is applicable. And we are going to understand how to adjust the input service tax credit, that means how to avail the input tax credit available, and also make service tax payment using the prescribed forms to the department. And we are going to see how exactly we can account the opening service tax credit and opening service tax payable at the beginning of the financial period. And next we are going to end up with generation, printing and analysis of the service tax report and return. So before proceeding with the transaction and the master, first have a look on what is the service tax flow that they are given in the Tally.ERP 9. What is the general flow of service tax? So as mentioned over here in the flow chart, there will be a corporate or non-corporate entity. The non-corporate entity or the company, they can be a buyer of services and they can also be a seller of services. When they are buyer of services, they will pay the service tax to the seller and whenever they are taking the services, and whatever the service tax they have made payment to the buyer, they will take a credit on service tax. And in the similar fashion, when they are making sale of services to other service receivers, they will collect the service tax from the buyer and they will remit the service tax to the department. So as here in this case, they are acting both as service receiver and service provider. They will be having a service tax credit as well as service tax payable. So when you are having service tax credit and service tax payable, as per the norms of the service tax department, you can adjust the service tax payable against the input rate available, and remaining portion you can make payment to the department. So here, once you avail the credit and once your service tax liability is generated, you will make the adjustment against the service tax unpaid, against the payable, and the remaining part of the credit you will make, payable will be made payment to the department. And when you are making the payment, obviously it will be to the bank, and you will use the DAR 7 for making the payment of service tax. And after once you make the payment of service tax, you will remit your return. That is nothing but form STP is for service tax return filing. So you submit this particular form and also you will file the returns of this particular form, the commission rate of the service tax. So this is how the flow of service tax is involved. And this is how the service tax flow is also handled in the product. Any classifications required over here on service tax flow? And Mr. Kojanram is having a query regarding the service tax. He is asking whether TNS on the Tally.ERP subscription that is being rendered to the Tally customer, whether the service tax is applicable. Mr. Kojanram, TNS is also a declared service and service tax is charged. And also on your AMC bill, that is nothing but when you go for the on-site visit, obviously you are renting the services and also the same thing comes under the service tax for you. So service tax is charged. Any clarifications required regarding service tax flow? Mr. Kojanram is having one more query over here. Whenever he is charging a bill of AMC or the TNS, customer is deducting the TDS. So TDS will be deducted by the service tax receiver. So as also this comes under TDS, the tax will be deducted. Because it is at the source, so on your income the TDS will be deducted. Fine. Now let us see how exactly we can activate and configure the service tax in Tally.ERP. To enable the service tax in Tally, we have to create a company, and once after creation of company, from the gateway of Tally, we can navigate through company info, we can select the company, and we have to press F7 feature. We have to navigate through the statutory and taxation feature. Here we have provided an option, enable service tax to L. And you have to provide the company-related service tax details. So now let us see how exactly this can be enabled in product. So here I have created a company by the name Oasis Media Matrix Limited. So in order to enable the service tax feature, from the gateway of Tally, you need to press F11. Navigate to the option statutory and taxation. We have provided the option enable service tax. So once after enable, in order to mention the service tax details, you have to enable the option set order service tax details. Here the field comes, you have to enter the service tax registration number. Basically, service tax registration number will be having the 15 digits. So first 10 digits will be on PAN basis. Next remaining 5 digits will be issued by the department. So basically, service tax registration is nothing but PAN-based registration number. Next, we will ask you the date of registration that your firm has undergone the service tax registration. You can enter the date over here. Then it will ask you the type of organization that your company is, whether it is for local authority, association of persons, cooperative society, government, partnership or registered private limited company. You have to select the type of organization, and next your further will come to compute tax liability on. So here there are two options, there are two policies regarding to contract taxation that have been defined by the department. One is actual basis and one is realization basis. So let us have an understanding on these two bases. What exactly is accrual means? Accrual means once you raise the service tax debt for your party, that is nothing but for your customer, so basically this is related to generation of liability and this is nowhere connected to your input tax credit. So basically this is related only on sales transaction, service sales transaction. Once you make a service sales debt in your books of accounts, on the same date and on the same date of invoice, you are able to make payment to the department. That is called as accrual. And realization is vice versa of accrual. Once you raise the service tax sales bill, for example, you have made the service tax sales bill as on 1st April 2014. So from the date of invoice, once after you make the sales bill as on 1/2/2014, you are going to receive the payment from the party as on 5th April 2014. So once you receive the payment from the party as on 5th April, only on the 5th April your liability to make payment of the service tax will be waived. But in case of accrual, the date of invoice will be considered, and in case of realization, the date of payment that you have received from the party will be considered in order to compute the tax liability on your cost. And here, the further will move to compute tax liability only when you select the type of organization as partnership, individual proprietary, limited liability partnership. Only in these, when you select only these kinds of organizations, the further will come to compute tax liability, because as per the norm, as per the service tax norm, when your partnership or the individual or proprietary concern have crossed 50 lakhs of the turnover in the previous year or the current year, then only the realization becomes the picture. Otherwise, it is based on afterwards. So only when you select these particular costs, the further will come to compute tax liability, and you can choose whether you want to go with actual basis or whether you want to go with a realization basis. And in a similar manner, if you are a registered private limited company, obviously further will not move, because by default it is the actual basis for the other kinds of organization. So for the partnership and proprietary concerns, we have the provision to select realization till you cross the turnover of 50 lakhs rupees. Any doubts regarding the compute tax liability on actual and realization basis? Please let me know if there are any clarifications required regarding actual and realization basis. Please let me know the queries regarding actual and realization. Mr. Lakshman is asking whether we can get in service tax related notes. Mr. Lakshman, you can always refer our reference manual, and also we are having the documents related to service tax, how exactly it can be maintained in Tally.ERP, covering all the provisions on our website. And also we have given the implementation guides and also the demo data. You can refer the same thing which is available on our website, Tally website. Mr. Rajaram is asking for explanation again on the compute tax liability basis, actual and realization. Mr. Rajaram, actual in the sense that it will consider the date of your service or sales invoice to compute the service tax liability. For example, as of 19th of November, today you have raised the sales bill. Irrespective of whether you are going to receive the payment from your party or not, your liability will generate, that is nothing but you have to make the payment of the service tax duty to the department. So here on the accrual basis, you will not wait till you receive the payment from the party. But what happens in case of realization is, unless and until you receive the payment from your party, your service tax liability will not get generated. That means you are not liable to make payment or duty to the department, only the sales invoice is received. Only on the receipt of the payment, you will be able to make the payment of the duty to the department. So in case of actual, it will consider the date of sale invoice, and in case of realization, it will consider the date of your payment. That is nothing but your receipt voucher. Any other clarification? Fine, let us proceed with the next part. So here they are given the option to enable the service tax round off. So if you want to round off the service tax duty amount while making the transaction, you can enable this option. Otherwise, you can disable this particular option. Then here you can also enter the RCP code which will be provided at the time of registration. You can enter the same thing over here. And then it will also allow you to enter the premises code. That is having the premises code here in the sensor wherever your company is located, the service tax department will specify under which premise code your company is located. So again, this will be furnished by the department. You can enter the same thing over here. And it will ask you whether you are a large taxpayer. Again, for only partnership and other things, it will not be a part of this particular thing. You can just disable this option. And at the time of registration, range, division and commissioner code will be furnished. Range in the sensor where your company is falling. For example, I will enter as this column. I will enter the name under which particular place it falls. And the division, I will enter the code. Under which particular division it falls, whether it is division 1, 2 or 3, it will be specified by the department. And commissioner code, this code is nothing but the location and the code and the where your company is located. So this particular thing also will be furnished by the department. So these are the things related to the service tax technical part. You can furnish these features and you can enter and accept the fee. So this is about part of enabling the service tax feature, the service tax applicability in your company data. So one part of creating and one part of enabling the service tax feature in your company data. So in order to record any transaction, we require the master instance. So master is something that the accounts are required. So whatever different kind of accounts related to service tax are applicable. So we should be having the sales and purchase ledger for making sale and purchase of services. So we have to create sales and purchase ledger. And then we have to create a party ledger of sending creditors and debtors ledger. And then we have to create a service tax duty ledger. So service tax duty ledger again has been bifurcated under 3 parts. One is service tax at the rate of 12%, and on the same 12% education tax and secondary education tax duty ledger should be created. So these are the masters required in order to maintain service tax in time. Any clarifications required about that? Regarding the masters? So now let us see how exactly the purchase and sale of the services can be accounted in Tally. So in order to account this transaction, let us take one example. Let us take one scenario of the transaction so that we can, according to the scenario, we can enter the transaction with the impact. So here is the scenario. On 1st April 2013, Oasis Media Matrix Limited, this is nothing but our company, an advertising agency. So basically Oasis Media Matrix Limited is an advertising agency that acquires interior decoration services from Parag Interior Solutions for rupees 2 lakh, on which service tax is applicable at the rate of 10%, education tax at the rate of 2%, and secondary education tax at the rate of 1%. So basically this is our transaction. So here there are two parties involved. One is Oasis Media Matrix Limited, who is service receiver, and there is some service provider later, that is Parag Interior Solutions. And we are acquiring the service, that is interior decoration services, from the service provider, and also the service tax duty is charged. So now let us see how exactly this can be maintained in Tally. So we have created a company by the name Oasis Media Matrix Limited, and we have enabled the service tax already from the F11 F3 itself, and we have selected the council tax liability. As of now, we have selected as realization. So here the expense ledger is there because as Oasis Media Matrix Limited is purchasing, it's a purchase expense for them. So what we are purchasing is we are purchasing services. We are purchasing interior services over here. So this becomes the expense ledger. So interior services we have to create it under indirect expenses, under the group indirect expenses, and also we have to enable service tax applicability because we are going to charge the service tax on the interior services. And we have to select the category as interior decoration. So already I have created the ledger, so I'll go to the option also. So we are going to purchase it from the Parag Interior Solution. I am going to create the ledger under Sandeep Creator. Enable maintain balance of bill budget. And here, in order to define whether we are making the services purchase from the service provider or not, we have given the option to define in the ledger master whether he is a provider or receiver. So we have to enable in the party ledger master from whenever you are making the purchase of service. So we are going to enable this option, is service provider or receiver, and we are going to define the service tax details related to the particular party ledger master. By enabling the option set auto service tax details. So again here it will ask you the registration number, which will be again time date, and it will be furnished by your party, and also the date of registration will be furnished by the party. So each associated enterprise, like if the party is belonging to your own concern or sister concern of the branches, you can enable the option with associated enterprise. If it is totally a different one, you can disable the option. And here you can select the type of classification. So different type of classifications we are having, whether we can avail the input credit or whether it is advance kind of service or whether it is export kind of service import or whether it is reverse charge mechanism or whether it is taxable, reverse charge or taxable. We can select it over here. If the particular services which we procure from this particular party, it can be any of the category and it is not fixed, you can just go with the option not applicable. So this we have created the party ledger, and after the party ledger we are going to procure the interior services. So we will be having the ledger account of interior services. So interior services becomes part of indirect expenses. And here we have to enable the service tax applicability because service tax is charged in this particular transaction on the services. So once you enable service tax applicability, it will ask you to select the category. Under which particular category this service belongs. So as it is interior decorator, we are going to define the category also. And we are going to accept it. So as we are making the purchases, we have to create the duty ledger, it has been the service tax input credit. So duty ledger will fall under duties and taxes. We'll ask you what kind of duty type it is, so it is service tax. Here we have given the services to select the tax type, whether it is service tax or education tax or secondary education tax. And by selecting the option any, entire 12.36% which contains 12%, 2% and 1% tax rate, it will fall under the same category, same under ledger. So that it can be accounted under using one particular ledger rather than creating three different ledgers for service tax. So they are given provisions for both the things. Either you can go with the individual ledgers for service tax, education tax and secondary education tax, Otherwise, you can account the entire service tax rate under one particular taxation by selecting the option N. So right now we have created the master regarding the transaction that we are going to enter in Tally. So any clarification is required regarding the master that we have created so far? Fine, the next let us proceed with the transaction. So I have already had this transaction. I will go with the alteration of this particular transaction. So I need a purchase. Let me delete this particular transaction and show it to you. So I'm going to accounting voucher. I'm changing the date to first April 2013 in the purchase voucher. We are going to purchase the services from Tally Interior Solutions. And as it is related to the purchase of services, we can enter the transaction in the account investment. So by pressing Alt I have converted the voucher to the account invoices. So under particulars, I will select the services whichever I am purchasing. So once you select the service tax expense ledger, here you will be taking the service tax details page. So I am going to provide the reference. So this particular reference will be your service tax bill reference. And then automatically it will capture the service tax reference. If you want to edit the same thing, however it is a user-friendly thing, it can be defined by the user. The further will come to the user, you can edit as per the requirement. By default, Tally will capture the name of the reference as the name of the particular purchase voucher type and the voucher number that you are going to select. And as we are making the purchases, the type of service will be your input side because it can be a purchase of the services on which we are going to arrange the input tax credit. Okay, last time we defined the service tax amount over here. That is nothing but your gross amount on which service tax will be charged. So as mentioned in the scenario, the service amount was 2 lakhs. So once you enter over here, automatically service tax will be calculated. And after selecting your services, you have to select your input tax credit duty ratio. So automatically amount will be captured. So this is the bill by BTSC that you can enter the bill of the particular party. And I have accepted this. So this is how the payment is being made. So this is how the purchase of services has been accounted. Any doubt related to the purchase of services regarding the master creation and the voucher entry? So we have covered all this regarding the supplier ledger solutions and the service tax legislation. And also we have covered this purchase voucher entry, how exactly we have done. Now let us see how exactly sale of services can be accounted. So let us understand from the point of one particular scenario. On 2nd April 2013, Overseas Media Matrix Media, that's nothing but outsourcing, entered into the contract for advertising services because basically we are providing advertising services. It's legal services for the 3 lakhs and it also includes the service tax. So basically here Oasis Media is acting as a service provider and legal services are nothing but our service receiver and the service amount is 3 lakh rupees. On this one we are going to charge the service tax. So the legislator required to pass this particular transaction is first of all the party letter, legal services. We are going to create it under country data because those are our customers. We are going to enable the service tax details. And next we are going to create an income ledger. In particular we are going to provide the advertising services. We will create an account that means advertising services provided and it becomes part of our income. So we will be creating this ledger under indirect income. And we are going to enable the service tax category. So now let us see how exactly this can be maintained in Tally. I already recorded this particular transaction. So I will second is I'll go to the sales voucher and select the party account name as legal services to whom I am providing the service. I am going to select the advertising services, the ledger which are created under indirect income and which I have made enable the service tax applicability and I have selected the category as advertising industry. And here once again you select the income ledger, the service tax details scheme will pop up, wherein you can mention the service tax bill reference and the type of service will be taxable and category automatically it will get captured over here because already we have defined in the master. If you want to go and change by passing the transaction, once after your amount further comes to the amount field, you can select backspace and you can select the type of service or whatever the addition you can make, you can interpret. And if you want to move your cursor to the category, which we have already defined in the master ledger, but right now I want to change this, you can set F12 from the service tax user screen. Here we have given the option, allow to override service tax category user screen. I will enable this option and I will press backspace so the cursor will come to the category field and I can select the relevant category whichever is applicable. And once after I enter the service amount, automatically service tax will be calculated. And after selecting my income ledger, I will be selecting the service tax output tax payable ledger. And again, this ledger has been created under duties and taxes, type of duty or tax or service tax, and tax head as any. Because I am accounting for entire 12.36% under one single ledger. And next you can enter your legal details over here for a party ledger. And we can accept the voucher. And it also related to the purchase and sale of service transactions. Please let me know if there are any clarifications required regarding accounting, service, sales and purchases. Mr. Rajaram is having a query over here. He is asking whether we need to create two service tax ledger. Mr. Rajaram, you can also account service tax payable and service tax input rate under a single ledger. So having the detailed MIS reports and other things, you can also create two different ledgers. It's not mandate to create two different ledgers. You can also have one single ledger in order to account service tax input rate and also service tax output. Is it clarified, Mr. Rajaram? Okay, any other clarification? Others, any other clarification? And let's proceed with the next one. So on 3rd April 2013, Voucher Media Matrix Limited makes payment to the service provider. So here, right now we have accounted only the purchase and sale of the service transaction. So payment to the party is still pending. So let us make a payment voucher. So I'm making the payment voucher here. I'm going to create the bank letter because right now I'm making the payment through check. So as on 1st April, I made a purchase of services. So as on 2nd April, I am going to make the payment. I'll press F5 for the payment voucher. I'll create a bank letter. Select the party to whomever I am making the payment. It's nothing but Mrs. Saraj Interior Solutions. So once I select the party details now, here you can see the service tax details in popping up. It is nothing but right now we are making the payment against the service bill. So here we need to track the same service bill. So just have to select the against reference here. So once you select against reference, your service tax bill that you have created for this particular party list here will list out over here. So you can select the relevant bill against which you are making the payment. So it will capture the gross amount as well as your service tax bill, service tax amount. And also here you need to track the same bill as which is the number that you have given. And you need to make the payment. So this is how the payment voucher is recorded. So next transaction is regarding on 30th April 2013, Voucher Media Matrix Limited adjust service tax input rate to the service tax liability. So but before this one, the receipt voucher is not included in the PPT. But however, as I made the service tax service payment to a party, let us have a receipt of the same thing. So on the same day, I will have the receipt also. I'll select the party, then nothing but my customer legal services, to whom we have rendered the advertising services earlier. Again, while receiving a particular statement, it will ask you against which particular bill you are receiving it, because based upon the same thing, you are going to get the service tax liability. Because right now we have enabled realization cases in our reference system. So once we receive it, service tax liability will be done. So we need the purchase statement and we need the solution receipt. So right now we are having the service tax input credit as well as the service tax payable. So as per the product as per the flow chart that we are going through, whenever we are having the service tax paid in the payable, we can adjust both against each other and the remaining part can be paid to the department. Otherwise, the whole amount can be adjusted against the input tax rate available if your input tax rate is more than the payable part. So coming back to the slide, so once we make the purchase payment and sales receipt, we are going to adjust the service tax input credit. So in order to adjust the service tax input credit, we have to create a journal voucher class. So in order to create the journal voucher class, from the gateway of Tally, you have to navigate to the account info, voucher type. You have to go to the option order, select the voucher type as journal, move your cursor to the name of the class. Here you can read the money as service tax adjustment. And once you enter on the name of the class, you will be getting this option, use class for service tax adjustment. So whatever the adjustment entry that you are going to pass related to the service tax, everything has to be go to a class. So for that particular class, you have to enable this option. So now we have created a journal voucher class. So usually these particular adjustments will be done at the end of the month. I come to the accounting voucher. I press F7 for journal voucher and then select the class which I have created for making the adjustment entry, that is service tax adjustment. I change the period to 30th of April because at the end of the month I am making the payment. So here we have given the option input rate adjustment. So basically this particular class has been provided in order to adjust the input service tax rate against the service tax payment. So I am going to select this particular class as input rate adjustment. So as soon as this particular plan is selected, you can see an option is getting highlighted on the button bar, that is service tax helper. So this service tax helper we have given to have the automatic adjustment of the expenses. Otherwise, you can also go with the manual entry instead of going with the service tax helper. So I will select all tax option. So I will mention the period. From which period till which period I want to adjust the input rate adjustment. I will give a month period. So once you enter on this particular month, whatever your service tax payable and whatever your available input tax service rate as per the transaction that you have recorded will be drawn over here, and also the adjustment amount will get automatically captured. So right now my payable amount is more than my available input service tax rate. So after the extent of input tax rate is available, I will make the adjustment over here. And also we have given the provision. If you want to adjust right now only the smaller amount, you can make the manually. I will enter on this amount and I will press enter. So automatically the duty ledger and the service tax output ledgers will get captured over here. So right now you might be seeing the two different service tax duty ledgers also. This is the difference in ledger. Because those things are coming from the opening balances. So delete the entry of opening balances. I proceed with the entry now. So the output service tax payable ratio that you have selected in the sales transaction will be debited automatically. and also the service tax input page ledger will get created over here. And once after entry, the provide details column will be enabled, wherein you can mention the period for which you are making this adjustment in. So to specify the period over here carefully, because based upon the same thing it will be reflecting in the report part also. So right now we have adjusted our input tax credit, so the remaining amount will become the part of the payable. You can also go and view your payable part from the compensation report. So in order to navigate to the compensation report, you have to go to display, statutory report, service tax report will be highlighted. You can go to the compensation part. Here you can see as per our for the transaction input tax paid for 24,780. And our payable was 3780 rupees, and we have made the service tax adjustment of 24,780. That's nothing but up to the amount of credit available. Remaining 12,360 is not payable. So this one we have to remit to the department. So now let us see how exactly we can make the remit the particular service tax duty amount to the department. So go to the accounting voucher, add rupees payment, and go to the payment voucher. As an first of me, I am making the payment to the department. So whenever you are making the duty payment, you can go with the option start payment over here. I'll select the account as bank. I'll go with the start payment option. So I'm going to select the type of duty as service tax. And it will ask you whether you want to automatically fill the duty amount over here. Otherwise you can manually also select the references. By selecting this option also, what happens is, till first of May, whatever the bill spread there, that is on which the payable part was pending, automatically all the bill references will be selected over here. Right now, if you want to make the bill payment of only few of the service tax bills, you can go with this option so that you can manually select the bill by references. I'll enable this option. Then it will ask you till which particular date you want to make the payment. I'll give the fill date as 30th April. Also it will ask you for which service category you are going to make the payment. Either I can go with specific one service category, otherwise I can go with the option all items. I am going to select the bank ledger. So automatically remaining amount will capture by making the payment. Once again you will be getting this option provide details, wherein you have to give the period for which you are making the service tax payment to the department and the payment details. Then through which bank you make the payment, the account number, branch name, seller number, these details have to be filled over here. So right now we have made the payment for first April to the 30th of April. I'm going to enter the same thing in format 2. In this manner, we can remit the duty to the department. So far we have seen the accounting of purchase, sale of services, receiving the payment and making the payment towards the service tax bill. And also we have seen how exactly we can adjust the input tax rate against the payable and remit the remaining duty amount to the department. The clarifications required regarding these transactions, is it clear? Fine, let us proceed with the penalty payment. So here, let us have a scenario on 15th of July, Oasis Media Matrix Limited makes a penalty of ₹500 for late payment. So whenever you are not clearing your taxes on time, the department will levy penalty or the fees, the thing which you have to make payment to the department. So how exactly this can be accounted in service tax, applicable on service tax duty, and also how this has to be, because this particular penalty or the other fees, late fees has to reflect in the form as well. So let us see how exactly we can account the penalty payment or the late fee payment. So in order to account the penalty payment, we should create a ledger. That is nothing but we are going to account the penalty. So we are going to create the penalty ledger on the indirect expenses, and we are going to enable the option service tax applicable because the penalty is on part of service tax duty. So we are going to enable the option, and in the default service tax category fee, we are going to select the taxable service. And as we are going to make payment with penalty, obviously even the bank also will pay for. So in this particular payment also, we are having two ledgers paper, one is for penalty and one is the bank ledger. So I am going to account this particular transaction as on 15th of July. I will select the account as bank. We need to create the penalty ledger. Create it under indirect expenses. And we need to enable the option is service tax applicable. And also this particular penalty, it can be paid on any other service category. If your firm is always going to give one particular kind of services, you can define the type of service over here. Otherwise, if your firm is engaged in providing different kind of services, for example, your firm is engaged in providing advertising agency services also and also including advertising space or time. If your firm is engaged in more than one service category, you can select the option of any. So once you select the penalty ledger here, it will ask you what kind of expense to give over here. I'll select this as the expense. I'll select the reference over here. I'll select the bill. I'm sorry for the inconvenience because right now there is a network failure. The payment unit can be reconnected to the session website. Has everyone able to view the Tally now? Please confirm it. Fine. Let us proceed with the transaction. So we are going to make the payment of the penalty. So whenever and also this particular penalty payment is related to the statutory payment. So once you provide the date and the account, there's nothing that to which you are going to make the payment. You can press Alt over here. There is nothing that for the statutory payment. We can select the service tax because right now I am making the payment of the service tax. Automatically I am not going to enable this option because I am going to select the penalty ledger. This is not get captured. Then to enable the autofill option. I am selecting the penalty ledger over here. This will be the new reference because there will not be any exception applicable on the late fee or the penalty. On the file, I select the new reference over here. It will ask you what kind of type of payment you are making, whether it is higher or other test, and whether you are making the payment of interest test, late fee or penalty test. In our scenario, it is penalty. And then again it will ask you, against which service tax category you are making the payment of penalty. I select category as advertising agency and I will enter the amount. So penalty of 500 is applicable in our scenario. So I enter the amount of 500 rupees over here. Bank details you have to enter over here. And I'll accept the entry. this is how the penalty and other kind of arrears payments are made. Right now we have created the lesson on penalty. Whenever in case of arrears and other late fee is applicable, you can create this ledger by the same name, arrears and other things, and you have to define it under indirect expenses, and you have to enable the option service tax payment. And in similar manner, however we have entered the tax payment for the late for the penalty payment, in the similar fashion you have to record it for the arrears and other expenses. Is it clear regarding the penalty payment? So Mr. Bhangar is having a query over here. If there is auto calculation is available based on due date in Tally.ERP. So right now we do not have any auto calculation method, and the user has to enter it manually in the field, in the document. So far we have seen the ending of the transaction, adjustment entry and tax payment and payment to the party. And now let us have a view on service tax opening balances. With respect to service tax liability and with respect to service tax input credit. So in our scenario, as of 31st March 2013, Oasis Media Matrix Limited has service tax liability of rupees 12,360 for entry advertising services to legal services for rupees 1 lakh. And this needs to be brought forward to the current year as an opening service tax liability. So this will be the very general scenario because the company is still undergo. At the end of the financial period, most of the companies, what happens is they will be having the service tax liability. So indirectly they will be creating a fresh company or they may split the company. And once the company is split or a fresh company is created for the new financial year, they would like to brought forward the service tax liability that they have arised in the last previous financial year. So in this particular case, how exactly we can account the opening service tax liability? So in order to account the opening service tax liability, we have to create two ledgers over here. So the first ledger is service tax ledger previous year. We have to create this particular ledger under suspense account, and we have to specify the opening balance 12,360. So this 12,360 is nothing but our closing balance of previous financial year, which we would like to brought forward to the next financial year. So whenever you are having a liability, the balance should be given in credit balance only. And in order to brought forward to the current year's duty ledger, we are going to create one more ledger, that is service tax duty ledger current year, and we are going to create this ledger that duties and taxes by selecting the type of duty or service tax. You can account this ledger using a different ledger also, or whatever the existing ledger you are having for the output to account the output service tax, you can mention that you can use the same ledger also. So it depends on the how customer exactly wants to maintain in his system. So first of all, we need to create the ledger. So I have created one ledger here by the name service tax payable of the previous year. This has to be created under suspense account because it is nothing but a control account. And here you need to enter the opening balance. So basically this is the closing balance of the service tax payable of the last financial year. And this has to be entered in the credit balance only. So after this, I have created one more ledger by the name service tax booking for current year, because I am going to transfer my previous year balance to the current year duty ledger. I created this ledger under duties and taxes, the type of duty or tax as service tax. And again here you can have the bifurcation of three different types of taxes, or you can account it under the same taxes, that is under entity. So we have created the ledger now, and we have to record the transaction. So as it is opening, we have to record this particular opening balance transaction using the journal voucher class, if you have already created for service tax adjustment. And this entry will be recorded usually at the beginning of the financial period. And once you enter the date using the class, you will be getting a flag over here to account the opening balances of credit and payable. So here you need to select the option opening balance. Once you select the option opening balance, here you need to select the service tax duty payable of the previous financial year, under which we have provided the credit balance. So I debit the ledger under which the opening balance has been given. I enter the amount 12,360 to the balance to get satisfied, and I select credit service tax duty ledger which belongs to current year. Once I enter over here, it will ask me to enter the reference. So basically this reference will be belonging to the previous financial period. So I click previous financial period. So you can edit the references over here. And here you have to select the type of service as taxable, because it was a taxable service on which you have charged the service tax. And here you can select the service receiver on whom the service tax was charged. So in our case it was business services. The category you need to select and you need to enter the amount. In the similar manner, if you are having multiple references, you can select the new reference once again over here and you can enter the details over here. And also here you can mention the different party ledger against which the service tax payable was pending in the previous financial period. In this manner, you can account the service tax opening balance which is payable. So once you make this entry, you can navigate to display statutory report, service tax report and consolidation card. Here you can see, as per the opening balance that we have recorded, it's showing the service tax payable for 10,350, which we can remit to the department in the current financial situation. Any doubts regarding accounting service tax payable in the current financial period? Mr. Dharna is having it very over here. Is asking, is there any possibility to give opening balance of tax by bill wise, expense wise and party wise? Mr. Dharna, is in the open field that you have given to all the customers. For example, right now you want to account service tax payable only for one particular service tax category of all the parties. So once you enter on the service tax duty current year ratio, here you can select the party belonging to the same category and you can mention the category of service over here. This is the free field that you have given to the customer. So as per your requirement you can select over here. And the opening balances, if you want to enter it as per the category wise, you can have a different ledger created under success account for different categories, and when making the entry you can select the same ledger. Otherwise, for all the categories you can record it under and you can provide the opening balance under this one particular ledger. So right now I have provided under one particular ledger. You can have the bifurcation also, but only the thing is it will increase the number of entries. Mr. Dhanraj is asking vehicle service is a party ledger or expense ledger. So it is a party ledger that we are creating under syndicator. Any clarifications required regarding this? Mr. Dhanraj, here the expense ledger will not be selected. Basically, this service tax liability has been generated by providing service to the vehicle services. So here the service category will be selected over here rather than the expense ledger. The accounting of the service tax liability on the expense ledger will be done in the previous financial year. Here only the thing is we are giving the information about the reference and we are just bringing it forward to the current financial period. So here it's not required to select any expense ledger. Is there any other clarifications required regarding this particular entry? Right now we are seeing how to account the service tax payable of the previous year in the current financial year. In the similar manner, let us now see how exactly we can account the service tax input credit which belongs to the previous financial year and we have to brought forward to the current financial year. So coming to the scenario, Oasis Media Matrix Limited has a closing balance of service tax input credit of 6,180 rupees and this needs to be brought forward to the current year as opening service tax input credit. So here, the service tax input credit duty ledger has to be created for the current year and the duties and taxes, and we have to have the opening balance ledger wherein we can enter the opening balance of input tax credit. So we need to create the service tax input credit ledger under the account suspense account and we have to specify the opening balance of rupees 6,180 debit. So basically input credit opening balance ledger which should contain the debit balances and the payable ledger should contain the credit balances. So I am going to edit the amount over here to 6.80. I am going to mention the debit balance. And after creating this ledger under suspense account, I am going to create service tax input credit of the current year. It will be under duties and taxes, type of duty or tax as service tax and taxes will be any. I go to accounting option. I change the rate to 1 for 2014. I select the flag as opening balance. Here I need to debit the service tax duty of current year. I will enter a new reference over here. I will enter the reference, service tax reference of previous financial period. Again, this is why I am going to take the input tax credit. I am going to enter the service tax amount over here. Then I will be selecting service tax input rate of previous year. So I will be creating the amount so that the ledger balance will be clarified. So in this manner I can account the service tax input rate in the beginning of the financial period, which is actually brought forward from the previous year. Is it clear in this particular entity? Any clarifications regarding this? Fine, let us proceed with the next thing. So far we have seen the transaction wherein the taxability or taxable service categories were involved, in which receiver used to pay the service tax to the service provider, and service provider used to assist and remit to the department. But there are scenarios also where service receiver has to pay the service tax to the department, then making payment to the service tax provider, and then service tax provider making payment to the department. So this particular mechanism is called as reverse charge mechanism as per the norm. So here basically reverse charge in the sense that, for example, when you take the transporter, so transporters will not be having any specified books of accounts maintained, and they will be renting the transport services to the company. So as you are a company, will be having the prescribe the norms to maintain the books of accounts, and also it will be accounting the service tax or sales and purchase sales also. So in this manner, what happens is whenever you are availing this kind of services, for example, transport services, whenever you are availing the services from the transporter, then making payment to the transporter, you have to raise the liability of the service tax on your part. Basically, here in reverse charge mechanism, service receiver has to raise the liability of the service tax on the services received, and he has to make the payment to the department. So here the liability will not be on the part of the service provider, the liability is on the part of the service receiver. So let us understand this with an example. On 15/2014, Oasis Media Matrix Limited received security services. So the security services will form the part of reverse charge. Received security services from G4 Security Services Limited for rupees 1 lakh. G4 Security Services Private Limited raised the invoice with 25% of service tax applicability, and the remaining 75% of service tax will be paid by Oasis Media Matrix Limited. So here basically you can understand G4 Security Services Limited is service provider, and we are availing the security services from them amounting to rupees 1 lakh. So on the reverse charge mechanism, there can be two scenarios. One particular scenario, in fact 100% of the service tax will be borne by the service receiver, and there will be a partial reverse charge mechanism where part of the percentage will be borne by the service provider, and the remaining amount will be borne by the service receiver. So in our scenario, security service private limited, who is our service provider, will charge us 25% of the service tax liability, and remaining 75% we have to raise our liability in our books of account, and we have to remit it to the department. So this is nothing but the partial reverse charge mechanism. So the ledger that we require over here is indirect expense ledger. So we are availing the security services. So this becomes a part of the indirect expense ledger, and we are going to enable the service tax category and applicability, and we are going to select the service tax category. So let us create the ledger first. In the name of security services, it will be under indirect expenses. We are going to enable the service tax applicability, and we are going to select the category as security agency. And next we have to create the ledger of service provider. So here our service provider is G4 Security Services Limited. the service later. And here we are going to enable the option e-service provider or receiver. And here you are going to enable the option service tax details. Under which you will be selecting type of classification as reverse charge. So right now we have created the expense section and the party section. So first of all, in order to avail the services, we are going to make the entry to the journal voucher entry. So the entry has been recorded. So it's a normal journal voucher entry. So here we need to select the service tax adjustment flag. And I am going to record this entry as on first May. We are going to debit the expenses. There is nothing but our security services. I am going to give the service tax reference here. And further we move to the column type of service. So here I am going to select the type of service as reverse charge because the transaction comes under reverse charge mechanism. And I am going to select the category. So here I need to mention the taxable percentage over here. So in our scenario, and the taxable percentage, tax liability of service provider will be 25%. So as it is to be specified in the scenario that 25% will be charged by the service provider and the remaining 75% will be borne by the service receiver. We have to mention the taxable percentage as 25%. So basically this taxable percentage is nothing but the percentage of tax that nothing but this particular 25% will be applicable on the taxable value. So this has to be mentioned based upon the percentage that has been charged on the service tax by your service provider. So tax liability of service provider is 0. And I am going to mention the amount here. Service tax amount is 1 lakh. Here you can see, so once I enter the taxable percentage at 25%, remaining 75% will be under considered as the abatement. So taxable will be 0% because 25% we are going to raise the liability. Mr. Dhanraj is having a query over here. He is asking whether is there any possibility to fix the type of service as reverse charge and 25% in the ledger master. By defaultly, Mr. Dhanraj, by defaultly based upon the category that you select, the abatement rate and other things will be fixed in the categories itself. So reverse charge we can define it in the party ledger master. So based upon the category that you are selecting, you can automatically the abatement and the taxable rate will pop up over here. So the screen is now visible. Please confirm whether the screen is visible now. And we have edited the security services, and we have selected the type of service as reverse charge and security agency, and we have given the taxable percentage as 25%, and we have given the service tax amount over here. But in our scenario, as 75% of the tax will be borne by us, I am going to edit the taxable percentage here. Sorry for the inconvenience once again. There is a network failure. I will reconnect this line once and two minutes. I hope all are able to do the tally once again. So as mentioned in the transaction, we are procuring the reverse security services from the G4 security services, and 25% will be service tax liability, which we have to make payment to the party, and remaining 75% we have to raise the liability. So in the product, we receive passing the journal voucher, first of all to book the expenses, and nothing but the service expenses, as debit the security services. We will be selecting the type of service as reverse charge, and select the category as security services. So here, taxable here for this particular service is entire 100%, but tax liability on part of service provider. That is nothing but we are going to raise the liability up to the extent of 25% on the as provided in the service tax bill by the provider, that is 25%, because remaining 75% we ourselves have to raise the liability. So I am going to mention the tax liability percentage as 25% over here. So once I enter the 1 lakh amount over here, you can see over here it's taxable at the rate of 25%. So on 1 lakh rupees amount, 25% of the actual value is 25,000. 15,090 will be paid to the service tax receiver, and 75% on rupees 1 lakh. That is nothing but on 75,000 actual value, we are going to raise the liability in our books of accounts, and that way we are going to make the payment to the department. Once again here I will debit the service tax output tax payable. I will select the party over here. I will pass the entry. So once I take the services, against this particular service that I have received of security from the G4 security, I am going to make the payment to them. I will make this particular payment in the around 2nd of May. select the party. Again, the reverse charge facility agency and make the payment of 1,390,000. And I make the payment process. So in our scenario, the service amount was 1 lakh rupees. So on 1 lakh, 25% the tax has been charged by the service provider. So right now we have made the payment of 1 lakh and also 25% of the service tax. But remaining 75%, we have to raise the liability in our books of accounts as per the norm, and then we have to make the payment to the department. So how exactly we can raise this particular liability? In order to raise the liability on your reverse charge bill, you have to go with the voucher class. That's nothing but creation and the service. So I'll press F7. I'll select the class as service tax adjustment that we have created earlier. So here I have to select the flag as tax on reverse charge. So once I select this particular flag, it will ask you, so in this particular day, the reverse charge bill that you have recorded, you want to raise the liability. You can mention the period over here, and here you can select the category. So again, here we are given an option whether you want to avail the input credit on the particular reverse charge bill that you are going to raise it. So only after making the payment to the department, you can avail the input credit. Otherwise, it will be no. I select the party ledger, and here you need to select the service tax output ledger. You can select the expense ledger over here. So if you calculate the part, 1 lakh was our service tax amount. So that is able to view the calculator panel. Okay, so 1 lakh was our service tax amount. So on that one, 75% was borne by service receiver, that is nothing but from our end. So the acceptable value is 75,000. So on 75,000, if you are going to calculate service tax rate of 12.36%, so it will be 9,370. So here 75% you have raised it on your books of accounts because you have to make the payment because you are availing the services. So on such kind of services, you have raised the liability and this particular service tax you have to remit it to the department. So this is the tax liability that we are raising on the reverse charge bill. So once you raise this liability, you can navigate to the display statutory reports and computations. So you can see over here, due to the reverse charge, you have to make the payment of 9,270. So now, I will make the payment of the same thing or the liability that I have raised on reverse charge bill to the department. So once again, in order to make the payment to the department, you can go to the payment voucher. And select the security agency. So 9,270, which we have raised the liability, can be made payment to the department. Another thing I would like to state over here, In case of reverse charge mechanism, once you raise the purchase bill of the journal voucher to record the transaction, unless until you make the payment to the party, you will not be able to raise the liability on your part. And this has been defined as per the norm. So this particular thing will be applicable based on the realization. That is nothing but based on the payment only you will be able to raise the liability. And once you make the payment to the department, then only you can avail the input rate on each kind of services. So any doubt regarding the transaction that we record for the reverse charge mechanism? Basically, reverse charge mechanism kind of transaction includes three kind of offers that we need to enter in Tally. So first of all, it will be recording booking of expenses or the services that you are purchasing. It can be either through the purchase voucher, or you can also use the journal voucher for booking the expenses or for making the purchase of the services. And then you have to make the payment to the party. So based upon the payment that you have made to the party, you have to raise the liability on your part after the percentage that is applicable on your amount. So you have to record through the journal voucher. So once you raise the liability, you have to make the payment to the department. Please let me know if there is any clarification required. Please write your clarification in the chat. Shall we proceed further? Please confirm the same to chat. According to service tax rules, the associate is required to submit half-yearly returns in form STP in duplicate within 25 days of the end of the half year. So, as per the rules, you have to submit the STP return of the half-yearly return in the form STP. You have to submit it in the duplicate within 25 days. So, we have already discussed in the previous slide. So, for the first 6 months, you have to submit the STP form in duplicate, that is nothing but in 3 copies as of 26th of October. That is nothing but within 26th of October, you can remit it to the department. And also the return should be supported with GAR 77 evidencing the payment of duty. So this particular GAR 77 is nothing but once after you make the payment of duty to the department, you have to raise this letter and you have to submit it along with your return form. So now let us see how exactly we can generate this challenge, because this particular challenge is generated only when you make the payment of the duty to the department. So this payment of duty already we have cast in Tally by using the start payment option. So this is the start payment, this is the generate. So in order to generate the challenge, we can press Alt on the voucher that we have recorded. And here we have given the option to print GAR77. I can enable this option. So GAR77 will get generated. So you can see the print of this challenge and you can submit it to the department along with the STP form. Is it clear regarding the GR77 form generation? Okay, moving to the part of e-filing. From 1st Jan 2011 onwards, the government has made it mandatory to file the STP form electronically. So prior to 2011 financial year, it was everything used to file the returns manually. That is nothing but they used to visit the department and we used to file the returns. But from 2011 onwards, you can file the STP forms electronically, and now it is mandatory also. So in Tally also, we have given provision to generate the e-filing electronically and also manually also. So every service tax authority needs to electronically file the returns partially regardless of the service tax paid. So irrespective of whether you have service tax paid or not, you have to generate and you have to file the returns electronically. So there are two forms available over here. Either you can generate the information of your transaction and you can enter the same thing in a template provided by the department and you can file it. Otherwise, if you are using a software for accounting the transaction, you can generate the XML format and you can upload it on the department website. So we have given these two provisions in Tally.ERP. Either you can generate the information from Tally and fill it manually in the template provided by department. Otherwise, you can generate XML format that can be directly uploaded on the department website. So it is up to the choice of the assessee. So we have given a template in MS Excel format. So it is being defined and designed by the department. The department is nothing but CBEC, Central Board of Excise and Customs. And you can visit the department website and you can download the MS Excel template that has been provided there. And using this template, assessee can manually enter the required values and generate the XML format. And after filling the values in this particular template, you can generate the XML format. So it will be again generated by the department. And the same format you can upload it on the department website by logging into your account. Otherwise, if you want to generate it from the software that you are using to account the transaction, you can generate the XML format directly from Tally.ERP and it can be uploaded on the ACES website. So in order to generate the e-filing, you can go to display from the data of Tally. You can go to statutory report. You can go to service tax report. You can go to the form existing. And here we are given the option report. So this is only the physical report that we are given. You can generate it. Basically it is only for the view purpose. So this is the physical form that we are given, so that the assessee can take the print of the same thing. And for e-filing purpose, we have given two provisions over here. One is e-filing and one is e-filing XML. So here e-filing is nothing but, here you can export the information related to service tax from Tally to Excel format. And once after getting the details in your Excel format, you can fill the same thing on the Excel template which has been given by the department, and you have to download the same thing from the department website and you have to fill it manually. So So if you want to generate in that particular manner, you can export the e-filing report to Excel format from Tally, and you can manually mention the figures in amount as per the information that has been captured in the Excel format. So this will be the report that will get generated. You can see this report and you can manually fill in the template. We having the information about all the things over here. You have to see this and you have to manually fill in the amount in the template manually. Next option we are given to generate the e-filing in the XML format directly. So I will enter on this one. As we are generating the XML file directly from Tally. And once this particular file is generated, you can log on to acs.gov.in website, that is the department website, and you have to download the schema defined file. It can validate this particular file, and while validating, if you find any errors, you can rectify it in the Tally and then export it once again and regenerate the XML file and validate it. And once after the validation is successful and the document is valid, you can directly upload this file on the department website. So either we can go with this by exporting only the information. Otherwise, you can export the e-filing XML file as prescribed by the department. Are the people able to see the department website which I have opened right now? So this is the department website from where you can download the Excel template to key in manually. Otherwise, you can download the schema design file which will validate the XML file that we have generated from Tally.ERP application. So after going to this particular website, that is www.acs.gov.in, you will be getting the option of download. You need to click on the option download. Click here to download the utility. So once you click over here, you can come to the service tax part. So we have given here XML schema for XML return. So this you can download it from the department website and you can click it because this particular file will be in the zip format. You can unzip the file and you have to keep this file in the same location wherever you are generating the XML file from Tally so that the file gets validated. And also if you require the Excel utility template wherein you can manually mention that particular amount manually. So here you can select the Excel utility tool. If you are going with the XML generation, you can go with the XML schema. If you are going with the Excel template wherein you want to mention the amount manually, you can download this particular SC3 return Excel utility. Any doubts related to e-filing part? So we have done with the session. Please let me know if there are any questions regarding this particular service tax topic that we have covered today. Mr. Rajaram is asking a query over here. We want to know more about the Excel and XML template that is available on the department website. Mr. Rajaram, you can visit this particular website, that is www.aces.gov.in. So once you enter over here, this is basically the department website wherein you have to log on and you have to file the excise rater and service tax rater returns. So here, in order to download the XML and Excel utility tools, you have to go with the option download, which will be on the top of the menu bar. So once you go to this download option, you'll be getting the utilities option here to download. So once you enter over here, you can select the service tax part and you can download the XML schema utility. It is generating XML file from Tally, because this is required to validate the structure. And if you want to just manually mention the amount and generate XML using the template, you can go with the Excel utility option. Any other queries? Any other queries? I'll be sending a feedback link to all of you through the chat. I request you to provide your feedback on the today's session. This will help us in further improvement of the session. And whoever requires a PPT, please through the chat, you can send me your email ID so that we can send the recorded session along with the demo data and prepare PPT to your email ID. Also, I have shared you the link for the feedback. Please share your feedback so that it will help us in further improvement in our session. I thank one and all for presence for the today's session, for giving me such an opportunity to present the topic on the service tax. Good evening to all.